Hey, how's it going?
Good. I've got this Colt Paterson that I'm interested in selling. I think this might be a prototype.
That's really, really cool.
I came to the pawn shop today to try to sell my Colt Paterson prototype. I'd like to buy a house closer to my son who lives in California. I would hope to get somewhere in close to $100,000.
Where did you get this?
The auction company had this on the internet, and when they were advertising it, they called it a Colt belt model. And from the picture, it just didn't look like a belt model because of the location of these two screws in the center of the frame, which tells me that it maybe was not one of the guns that was a production model.
An actual Colt prototype would be a big deal. This is the gun that started it all. This was the first reliable revolver. For hundreds of years, they were trying to make multi-shot guns. But the problem was they were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
There was the pepper boxes. It was 5 or 6 barrels, and you had to hand rotate them after every shot, which by the 6th shot, the entire thing was like blazing hot. And if you touched it, you would burn your hand. And they just never got the design right until this came along.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel Colt is one of the biggest names in guns. His multiple-shot revolver first got big with the Texas Rangers. They used them to conquer the last remaining sections of the Wild West. I mean, it's a neat design. It was made to just fit in your pocket without getting hung up. That's why the trigger tucked in, and then once you pulled it back, you were ready to go. I can tell you what, it's got very little use on it. Generally, these things were beat to death. I've never seen a Colt Paterson prototype before. This would be like a holy grail item for gun collectors. How much did you pay for it?
About $4,000.
Okay. My big concern is it's not real. The wear pattern right here should be just as bad as it is over here.
I think it's a prototype because of the position of those screws.
If it's a prototype, it could be worth anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000. Let me get someone down here to take a look at this thing.
Okay. I'm really anxious to see what he can tell me about the gun. Hopefully it is a good one. We'll find out.
Hey, Rick.
Jameson, how's it going?
All right, here you might have a Colt Paterson there.
Maybe, but this guy right here is absolutely convinced it's a prototype.
Okay. I'm an antique firearms appraiser, and I appraise firearms that are made before 1898. Well, there's probably no gun company in the world that's more recognizable than Samuel Colt. Basically, he made his fame by developing the Colt revolver.
Yeah.
Colt had a factory in Paterson, New Jersey, and basically that's where these guns were made, and that's why they're called a Paterson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sam Colt was one of the people that helped create the idea that every family, every person should have a gun for self-defense. I'm sure you don't see these that often. What are your main concerns about it?
My big concern is the wear on this pistol is completely wrong. But I know if it's a genuine prototype, it could be worth some ridiculous money.
That's correct. Let me take this book out here and let's make some comparison. Now, this book is the Paterson Colt book. It's written by R.L. Wilson. This is the definitive book on Colt Patersons. Well, let's just lay that gun down there and make some observations. Look at the angle of the back strap here on this gun, and look at the angle here. This is much more severe. The lug on this barrel is much bigger than the one here. If you lay it on, look where the lug comes out on this. Now, if you look at all the models in this book, none of them look like this.
To me, it still looks like it's a prototype because of the position of those screws.
This screw right here appears to be a modern screw. You know, all these screws back then were handmade.
So, is it real?
In my opinion, it's not real. Everybody has those pipe dreams of finding something that's one of a kind in the bushes, so to speak, but that's pretty much a myth.
I would have loved for this thing to have been real and me give you $50,000 for it. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen today. Thanks.
Okay. Well, of course, I'm disappointed. I wish it was the real thing. I was telling myself continually, don't get over enthused about it. It may be a fake.